Yes. Okay, good evening, everybody. You start to record, Niveen?
Yes.
Okay. But hello, everybody. And thank you for joining us to our first training session with our amazing and great speakers. PDG Irv, Kaplan, and PDG Ahmed Saada. Welcome. Welcome, Irv. Welcome,
Hello,
Ahmed.
hi.
And sure, to Geeta, Monica, the TRF trustee. How are you?
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
Geeta.
Thank you for having
Hello. And welcome to our PTG Math from
Thank
New
you.
York and Premoda. Hello.
I'm happy to be
Hello,
here.
Math.
Great.
Everybody too.
It's always good to
Very
be
happy.
back in Cairo.
And I saw Nancy.
It's always good to be back
Sorry?
in Cairo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And as soon to Urgada too, please.
Huh?
Hope one day to come to Urgada too, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw Nancy before. She's still here or she left? Nancy.
Yes. I think she's somewhere. I don't know. I don't see the whole names.
Okay. No. Okay. No, she's not there. And now, of course, welcome to all our members or our potential members for Red Sea Urgada under organization. And welcome to for all our guests from outside the club too. We are very happy and very excited to listen to you today. We will start with Rwini, our incoming president, because our honorary secretary, Lili, she's not well today. He will talk about all news we have it in this short time in our club. Please, Rwini. Rwini.
Good evening.
Hi, Rwini.
Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, everybody. First, I would like to thank you very much for your support and for your time to meet with us online. And we are a very motivated team, which is making Hurghada Club. It's still, however, we are still under organization, but we started with so many, I believe, great ideas or projects to start. We have celebrated the End Polio Now Day a few weeks ago, and we took. It was a very successful day. And we took photos under the water, and it was very nice. And the team participated all. As well, we have so many projects in our mind, which is still in the pipeline, and some of them already we started on. We started with making like a beach path for wheelchairs for guests who visit the hotels with the special needs. So the wheelchair will be easier. They can go inside the beach. So sorry, I didn't introduce myself first. I'm the general manager for Continental Hotel in Hurghada. So we started with our hotel as a first example for making this path, which I believe this path, wheelchair path, will be ready within 2 weeks' time for wheelchairs. This is going to be our project that we will finalize it within 2 weeks. Other project we started with, we will announce it also. We did announce last week for another project for handicraft market will be in Christmas market. It's going to be on the 10th and the 11th of December. And the other projects as well. We are going encouraging the handmade products that our tourists are interested to take back home to their countries. We are working now on promoting this project, and I hope it will be a successful one. Also, we have other projects which is still in our pipeline, like we will make campaigns, cleaning campaigns for the beaches in Hurghada, especially the islands inside the sea, because usually we have a period in Hurghada where the sea, we call it cleaning itself. So there is some things we need to collect from the beaches to clean it up. We will be like one team. We go there, and we take one island and we clean it inside the sea, and many other projects. I don't want to take more time. It's still in our mind, and soon we will announce about it. So thank you very much again, and for your time and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Rawini. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, please, our District Membership Committee Chair, Nadine, please can you introduce our guest?
Okay, thank you very much. And actually, I am very happy to announce that this is the first official training session for the club. They have been meeting for 16 times. 16 doesn't mean 16 weeks, because they are more than this. Some weeks they missed. So finally, I thought, yes, the group is ready so that we can start the official training. As a district, we decided this year that any club that is going to be newly chartered, the members need at least to have 8 main topics that they need to know about before they become official Rotarians. Among them is the history of Rotary, how it all started, whether worldwide or in our district, about the Rotary Foundation, about the logistics, about all this, because it's important that everybody would know what they need to do as Rotarians and what they expect from Rotary. So this time I wouldn't find better than my RGHF colleagues and family that would actually start the Rotary, and I'm really proud that our PDG Earth is with us, and Ahmed Saada and PDG Mats as well. And we are honored that today we have also trustee PDG Geeta with us. She's with us today, maybe as for some encouragement and for extra clarifications if you want. And next week, I'm really proud to announce that we are going to have TRF trustee Geeta Manik and our PDG Ahmed Saada, our TRF district chair, speakers about the Rotary Foundation, which is the second session. So I would love to have Irv to start, followed by Ahmed, so that we can have this interesting session. Each one of you will have 30 minutes, and then Ruwaini is going to manage the Q&A questions at the end. And I'm really happy that we are having this recorded so that anyone can go back to it, and it's going to be uploaded on the website and the Facebook page of the club. Okay, thank you.
Nadine, thank you very much. But question and answer will be Sylvie, because she will come
Sylvie?
upset.
Okay,
Yes.
Sylvie. Okay, I thought it was Ruwaini. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sylvie.
Thank you.
Sylvie, we are going to hear a lot about Sylvie during the TRF session.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
one that she did with us with the first ever project. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And please make sure that you are all muted so that we don't have any, we listen, because Irv is going to start now.
Thank you. First, I'd like to welcome the Red Sea Hurghada Rotary Club to our family of Rotary. This is indeed exciting, and I will, you know what, there are over millions of stories on the history of Rotary, where Rotary started and Rotary expanded. Very quickly, I would like to start with mentioning Paul Harris, our founder. Paul Harris was born in 1868 at the age of 3 with his brother Orville. He was given to his grandfather and grandmother in Wallingford, Vermont. And this is where he grew up, and he attained all his philosophy and what led him to do what he did. I have to mention that his grandfather, and we have to now give credit to all our grandparents and parents, because they indeed deserve the credit for instilling us the better character in us. His grandfather taught him one: tolerance. Tolerance was the, let's say, the keystone of Rotary years later. Tolerance meant that his grandfather taught him to respect all races, religions, and political philosophies, and to treat everyone alike and make everyone welcome. And this was very important as he grew up. I'm going to go very rapidly over Paul's life, because I want to get to where we are today. Paul was educated as a youth in Vermont, which is a far eastern mountain type city in the United States. And when he left there, he went to apprentice in law in Iowa, which was another state. After 2 years of apprenticeship, he entered the law school at Iowa State University, where he graduated as a lawyer. The story goes that after Paul graduated, he wanted to spend 5 years investigating and experiencing the world. At this point, he worked in many little jobs: merchant marine, rancher, a newspaper reporter, and a granite stone salesperson. And then he finally settled down to the practice of law. I might add that during his trip, his journey, he stopped by the city of Chicago. At that point, he discovered that he loved the whole idea of the city, which was in its kind of infant stage. It was the railway capital of the United States, and things were very busy and a lot was going on. So he returned to Chicago. One day he walked the streets in Chicago with a man by the name of Rudolph, and they stopped at different stores and businesses and said hello. And he loved the idea of becoming familiar and acquainted with strangers. Now, very important is that he had an idea that was unique. At the time, there were many clubs. There were clubs that were athletic clubs and clubs that were journey clubs, but there was nothing like we had. He had this idea of a club that would be comprised of businessmen, and also that these business people can get to know each other, form friendships in a new city, and then also do business with each other. Of course, we'll get into that later. That even to this day, the concept of business with each other and business with the community is still a great debate, and it's a lot of fun to talk about. But I want to now jump to the first convention of Rotary. The first international convention, it wasn't international at that time. The first clubs were the National Association of Rotary. Rotary International came years later when clubs from across the international borders joined in Rotary. What is interesting here, in the convention of 1910, there were 18 Rotary clubs across the United States. They were in the big cities of New York, San Francisco, Louisiana, Chicago, and so forth. These clubs, they decided that one member from each club would come to this convention. And at this convention, they would first start talking about constitution, bylaws, establishment of dues, how clubs should act. Paul thought the convention would have 4,000 people in attendance. It actually had 1,800 people in attendance. Not 4,000, not 40,000, not 4,000, but 1,800. And of the first 18 clubs, 15 attended this convention. What is interesting is that this was our first convention. Our next convention, I'm going to jump a little, was in 1918. By this time, we had become international because the first international club was in Winnipeg, Canada. Rotary International Assembly of Rotary Clubs. But now what is really important is extension. How did all this take place? I was thinking it's almost like a dried out forest that someone lit with a match. It was the time and place for Rotary expansion. What happened was, all of a sudden, members, as an example, there was a Rotarian member in the Chicago Rotary Club, which was our first Rotary Club in Rotary, by the name of Morrow, M-O-R-R-O-W. Morrow went to Ireland, Scotland, and England to start clubs. At this time, surprisingly, Paul had an idea of starting clubs in Ireland, Scotland, and England. However, Paul did not know that Morrow had already started the clubs. So you see, extension takes place without you really knowing what's going on as a Rotary leader, because other Rotarians are busy spreading the word and telling people about Rotary. There was years ago, there was a member by the name of Muniz, and Muniz was with S&H Green Stamp Company, and he went to San Francisco. Now we're going back in the early days. I'm just explaining how Rotary spread. And he told everyone and the business people he met in San Francisco about Rotary, and that became the second club. The club of San Francisco talked to other people, and other people saw it, and all of a sudden there were maybe at least 6 more clubs in California. So you see, Rotary really got going very fast from individual Rotarians visiting a Rotary club and then spreading the word. I think it got ahead of Paul. I don't think Paul Harris, our founder, in his wildest dreams, ever expected that this business person's club he started would spread like it did. But it did. And soon it was all over. And now we're getting close to where we were at, in the sense of that these Rotarians had seen, well, experienced that just doing business with each other was not going to be enough. They got interested in community service very quickly, and also in doing business with the entire community. However, to this day, we still have Rotarians that join for business. Well, that's fine. If you serve well, you might get some business out of a club. We had a member years ago by the name of Sheldon, and Sheldon came up with the idea that this solved our problem. He who serves best profits most. Well, what he really meant by the word profit is that if we join the club and we serve the community and we meet a lot of people, we make a lot of friends, and you know, I won't get into the four-way test right now, but you're liked and you're trusted and you're known. If people need your product, they will do business with you, but you're not going to stay in Rotary just for personal business. Now, what is interesting here is all of a sudden, give this some thought, that 1980, we had our 75th convention, and in 2005, we had our 100 convention, and now we're at 115 years. Since this time, everyone, including Naveen and everyone I know, has Rotary stories. So I'd like you to give this some thought, that if we have 1 million members now, over 1 million, and every year 10% leaves and 10% joins, and everyone has a story. And today we have 38,000 Rotary clubs, and you'll have a number of when the Red Sea Haggadah became a Rotary club, all of you will have stories. So I'm sure in 30 we can cover 38,000 or 38 million stories, and that's what we're really talking about. I will jump a little further than that, because Paul Harris got married in 1910 to a lady he met on a nature walk by the name of Jean Thompson, Edinburgh, Scotland. They got married in 1910. They bought a house in an area near Chicago called Morgan Park, Beverly Hills, in 1912. That house, we bought that house, I might add, to have it for the 100-year convention. We decided to make a museum of that house, and that house has been visited by many Rotarians, and here I'm repeating myself, but Naveen remembers that visit to the Paul Harris. I look back, I found out she lived at 41 Comley Bank, and I've got here of where she lived. In the meantime, I've been refurnishing this house in the museum. Now, Paul, born in 1868, died in this house in 1947. The story goes that when he was very ill and towards the last of his days, he had his bed moved to a large window that overlooked what we called his international friendship garden. So he had many visitors from all over the world come to this house when he was not well enough to attend his regular meetings in Chicago. And he wanted to lie in that bed looking at his garden. That bed, I moved that bed about 4 weeks ago from one wall to that window, so that when people visit, they can get the feeling of Paul lying in this bed looking out the window. I also designated they had no children, incidentally, and I designated a front guest room as Jean's room, because I have an idea that he was very sick and she didn't sleep in the same bed. She went to the other bedroom. So I've been furnishing that bedroom as though it was Gene Harris's bedroom. Now, when Paul died, he was interned or buried. His permanent resting place is just 1.5 miles away at the Mount Hope Cemetery. Now, I'm not mentioning a few of our early pioneers. The first president of Rotary, the Rotary Club of Chicago, was Sylvester Shealy. And Sylvester Shealy was one of the original 4 first members, which we're going to tell you about. Shealy is buried just across from Paul, and people from all over visit this Paul Harris Memorial and Presidential Walkway. I'm in charge of that, and I rebuilt this memorial, and I love greeting. I really like to greet people there because you can see when Rotarians come to the house and the memorial, they have a very special feeling, and they are really happy to be there. But I'm going to go back to the start of Rotary. The story goes that Paul sat down with 4 other businessmen, Gus Law, a mining engineer, Hiram Shorley, a tailor, and I might add Sylvester Shealy, a coal dealer. And here was Paul, a lawyer. And he approached them with the idea of the businessman's club, where they would form friendship, do business with each other, and meet very often. They would rotate. That's where the name Rotary came from, because they would meet at different places. The first meeting place was the 7-Eleven room in the Unity building in Chicago. That room has since been taken apart and put and placed, reconstructed at Rotary International headquarters in Evanston. So for anyone visiting Evanston, Illinois, they can see the first meeting room of Rotary. Now, there was a 5th member who might have been the 4th member, and that's always debatable in history. His name was Harry Ruggles, and Ruggles was a printer. The interesting thing about Ruggles that you'll appreciate in your new club is that whenever little arguments and misunderstandings and disputes broke out in the club, and it was getting noisy, Harry Ruggles decided they should sing. So he would start singing. And the story goes that he broke up all these internal arguments by singing. So Harry Ruggles, the printer, is the singer. Remember, Sheldon was the he profits most who serves best. And later on came another member, Herb Taylor. And Herb Taylor had business problems. There was a lot going on that in a big city like Chicago that he felt was not fair to the consumers and customers and clients. So he created the 4-way test. And you're going to be reciting the 4-way test because that's what we're all about. And that is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will build goodwill, better friendship will be beneficial to all. That's very meaningful. When I came into Rotary, I found that to be very special. And to this day, I see the clubs reciting that particular pledge. So we are covering a lot. I would like to, I would like to take questions. Matt would probably love to throw in some thoughts, and Naveen would probably love to throw in some thoughts, and I'm not watching a clock.
Okay, thank you. That's fantastic, and I'm sure that we are going to have more storytelling through our RGHF sessions. So very soon, the club we will have a special session about RGHF and also about more stories about the history of Rotary and the anecdotes and all these little stories that makes Rotary different and for everyone. So Matt, before we start with our past district governor, Ahmed Saada, maybe Matt will chip in with little something about how it a message, and then maybe we will have also then afterwards our PDG Ahmed Saada after you. Okay, Matt.
Thank you, Naveen. I really enjoyed Irv's presentation here, and I remember an episode during the Rotary Convention in Chicago in 2005. A retired professor, Rubina Leach, came into our booth and RDHF and said she knew Paul Harris when she was a little girl. And what happened was that she asked Paul Harris, this was in 1942, what he thought about the war. And Paul Harris said, "The war is terrible. I hope it can come to an end and we can restart the Rotary in Germany, Japan, and Italy. And then we have to do something to make sure it doesn't happen again." Then shortly thereafter, a group of Rotarians got together in London in a committee, and that committee became UNESCO. And 2 years later, in 1945, when the United Nations was chartered in San Francisco, that meeting was organized by Rotarians. And of course, Rotary was asked by the State Departments to provide the preambles for the statutes of the United Nations. And we got a thank you letter from Secretary of State Edward Stettinius Jr. So Rotary, a major contribution by Rotary to world peace is actually the formation of the United Nations. We were one of the founders of that. And actually Paul Harris said in an interview that the United Nations is formed on the values of tolerance that Rotary is based on, and give it half a chance and it may survive. And he said that in the background of that the League of Nations predecessor was not very successful. So that I'd like to add that thing.
Very good.
Yeah. I think that's a key thing. I mean, maybe one of the sessions also that we will be talking about is what is the main role of Rotary in the establishment of the United Nations, because it had an integral role. Okay, now we are going to have our PDG Ahmed Saada. Now that we have Rotary all over the place. In 1929, it started in Egypt and in our part of the world. And after this, I think maybe we'll have we are going to have a little overview. If our trustee Gita can tell us what will be covered next meeting. And in this, we will be, until then, please, Ahmed, tell us, how is it between 1929 and 2021 with all the different countries that came in and out and everything? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Naveen. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a great honor. Thank you very much, PDG Irv. Your presentation was excellent, very interesting and inspiring. I'm trying to, okay, now can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, thank you, Irv. Irv talked to us about the beginning of Rotary worldwide with the founder, Paul Harris, and his friends, the 4 original Rotarians. I'm going to talk about the beginning of Rotary in our district, District 2450. And I'm not going all the way back to ancient Egypt, but I'll start with the year 1929. And that was the year when the first Rotary Club in Egypt was chartered. And that was the Rotary Club of Cairo. During the same year, the Rotary Club of Cairo served as a sponsor club for another Rotary Club, which was the Rotary Club of Jerusalem. And that was in the same year, in the year 1929. The following year, 1930, the second Rotary Club in Egypt was chartered, and that was the Rotary Club of Alexandria. And then that was followed by the Rotary Club of Beirut in Lebanon, and then the Rotary Club of Haifa. And with these 5 Rotary clubs, these were the first 5 Rotary clubs in our district. With these 5 clubs, our district was known as District D, the letter D. And District D constituted the countries or Rotary countries within the Eastern Mediterranean region. A photocopy of the charter certificate of the Rotary Club of Cairo. It was chartered in June 1929. And I have to apologize for the quality of some of my photos. They are very, very old. This one is 92 years old. And this was signed by the president of Rotary International at that time in the year 1928-29, and he was from Mexico. The charter ceremony of the Rotary Club of Cairo took place on board of a ship on River Nile. It was a Nile cruise. And this is the only photo I have for the charter ceremony of the Rotary Club of Cairo, our first Rotary Club in our district. And this is the very first banner of the Rotary Club of Cairo. And as you can see, it used to have the flag of Egypt back then. And the Rotary Club of Cairo, they still have an original copy of this banner, and they use it during their weekly meetings. This is a copy of the charter certificate of the Rotary Club of Alexandria, which was chartered in June 1930. And it was signed by President Eugene Newsom from North Carolina, president of Rotary International at that time. As we all know, we have a tradition in Rotary that we always start our meetings with ringing a bell, and we conclude our meetings again with ringing a bell. This particular bell was a gift from the Rotary Club of Cairo to the Rotary Club of Jerusalem, and they are still using it until now. And they have the names of the club presidents engraved on the bell itself, and it's still there. It's a very old bell, but they still use it until now. Now we come to the start or the beginning of Rotary in Alexandria. The Rotary Club of Alexandria was chartered in 1930, and back then it was the time of King Fuad. This is the photo of King Fuad, and this is the photo of the flag of Egypt. The Rotary Club of Alexandria was chartered with 19 members, 19 charter members, and these 19 members represented 11 different nationalities. Years ago, Alexandria was known as a cosmopolitan city, and we had a lot of expatriates and a lot of foreigners living in Alexandria. Most of them were Europeans, so we had many foreigners as charter members of the Rotary Club of Alexandria. The first president of the Rotary Club of Alexandria was Baron Félix de Menashe. He was one of the foreign businessmen living in Alexandria. And for those of you who are familiar with the city of Alexandria, we have a street in Alexandria named after him, Menashe Street. And actually, it was only a week ago that I managed to find his granddaughter, and I contacted her via email, and she lives in Bristol in the UK. I'm trying to get some old photos and a true biography of our first president, and that was in 1930. He had a foundation named after his family, Fondation de Ménache, and this building, the foundation, is still, we still have it in Alexandria, and it became a hospital. Now it is a hospital in the middle of the city of Alexandria. Our second president was a Greek lawyer. He used to live in Alexandria at that time. His name was George Roussos, and he was known as Yorgos. I guess this is the way they pronounce the name in Greece or in Greek language. And George Roussos, this is a picture of his family. And George Roussos is the father of the famous singer, Demis Roussos. I guess most of you are familiar with Demis Roussos, the famous Greek singer. His father was our second president, or the second president of the Rotary Club of Alexandria. The first Egyptian president, that was like 5 years or 6 years later, the first Egyptian president of Rotary in Alexandria was Ahmed Zewar Pasha. And Ahmed Zewar was the governor of Alexandria from the year 1913 to the year 1917. And then a few years later, he served as Prime Minister of Egypt from the year 1924 to the year 1926. And then after that, he became the president of the Rotary Club of Alexandria. He was the Prime Minister of Egypt immediately after Saada Zaghloul and before Adli Yakan. I'm sure our Egyptian colleagues who are here with us tonight, they're familiar with these. These were very famous politicians at that time. The Rotary Club of Alexandria, ever since it started in 1930, they started their meetings on board of a ship that was owned by an Italian company by the name of Adriatica. And they kept meeting every Wednesday on board of this ship until the Italian company closed its office in Alexandria. So they moved their meetings to a very old hotel in Alexandria. It's called Windsor Hotel. This is a very old picture. And we still have the hotel. This is maybe a recent, relatively recent picture of the Windsor Hotel. Then the meetings of the Rotary Club of Alexandria moved to the Muhammad Ali Club, and the building is still here in Alexandria, and it belongs to the Ministry of Culture. And this is a recent picture of the building. This is the very first community service project in Egypt, actually in Alexandria, and our older members actually purchased an ambulance to one of the healthcare facilities in Alexandria. Now, we come to the evolution of our district number. As I mentioned earlier, in the year 32-33, our district was known as District D. Then it became District 83, and then District 89, 195, 245, 2450, and then about 7 years ago, we became District 2451. Actually, our district, Egypt was part of a bigger district. We used to belong to District 2450, that included about 11 different countries from 3 continents. We used to have Egypt and Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Cyprus, Sudan, Turkey, part of Turkey, the southern part of Turkey, Jordan, Bahrain, Syria. Syria dropped out in 1969, and then the United Arab Emirates, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Then we had Georgia and Armenia in Europe, Palestine again, and then South Sudan. Sudan was one country until the year 2011, where it became 2 different countries, Sudan and South Sudan. So literally we had 11 countries in 3 different continents, speaking almost 6 different languages with different cultures. This is a map of the area that shows our older district, here Egypt and Palestine, then Lebanon, Syria, Cyprus, Sudan, Turkey. Then we had Jordan, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Georgia and Armenia, Palestine again, because Rotary stopped its activity in Palestine in 1948, and then it was reinstituted in 2010, and then South Sudan in 2011. That was our older district, 11 countries in 3 continents, 146 clubs at that time, with 4,621 Rotarians. Now, 7 years ago, our district, we had a redistricting process, and Egypt became a district of its own under the number 2451. And these are all Rotary clubs in our district right now. Greater Cairo has 85 clubs. And when I say Greater Cairo, I mean Cairo, Giza, and 6th of October, and all the cities around Cairo. And then in Alexandria, we have 26 clubs, and then 1 club in each of the other governorates. Hopefully, the Rotary Club of Hurghada will be our 125th club, hopefully soon. In the history of Rotary, it happened only twice that we had 2 Egyptians serving on the board of directors. Ali Amin Yahya from the Rotary Club of Alexandria, and that was in the 1940s. And then we had Bahir Onsi from the Rotary Club of Cairo. He served as a director from 87 to 89, and I'm going to show you their pictures or the photos right now. Now, I'm going to share with you some very old pictures. This is the cover of one of our bulletins from the year 1936. And we have the original copy of this bulletin in the library of the Rotary Club of Alexandria. And a cover of this particular issue of the bulletin, it had the picture of King Fuad because he died in 1936, and that was the issue of May to July 1936. And King Fuad, this is very strange. Back then we had an honorary governor. We don't have this anymore, but at that time, King Fuad was the honorary governor of Rotary in Egypt. So for those of you who have been to the Abdeen Palace, the Abdeen Royal Palace in Cairo, there's a museum over there, and there are many club membership pins of late King Farouk, and one of them was this pin. This is a close-up of his Rotary membership pin. It looks exactly like the one we all use, but this one had diamonds all over around the Rotary wheel. And this is the Royal Rotary pin. This is another bulletin from our district in the year 1937. And at that time, or during this particular year, Rotary International Convention was held in Nice in France. And the reason I put this here in this presentation is to show you the registration fees for the convention at that time. It was $5. And just you can imagine the inflation that took place from that time until our current time. And maybe at that time, the exchange rate was $1 was like 40 piastres, Egyptian piastres. So we're talking about 2 Egyptian pounds to attend the convention in Nice. This is another screenshot from one of our old bulletins. It shows the membership fees, the annual membership fees in 1936. The membership fees, the Rotary per capita, was 100 piastres, or 1 Egyptian pound. And the bulletin, the Rotary bulletin was per capita was 35 piastres, and the district fees was 25 piastres. So this makes a total of 160 piastres. They were paid in every 6 months, 80 piastres every 6 months, 2 installments per year. This is our second district conference, and it was the first one to be held in Egypt. The first one was held in Palestine, and then this is the second one, 1937. It was held in Cairo, and the registration fees was 1 pound, 100 piastres, 1 Egyptian pound. This is our former president, Nasser, and this picture shows the president of the Rotary Club of Cairo giving the honorary membership to President Nasser. And I think this picture dates back to the year 1956. And this is Her Majesty Queen Juliana of the Netherlands. She was visiting the Rotary Club of Cairo, and at that time, the president of the Rotary Club of Cairo was the famous Dr. Ali al-Mufti, one of the most famous medical doctors in Egypt at that time. This is a photo of Bahir Onsi. He was a Rotary International director, and I'm sorry, the quality of the picture is very bad, but this is the only picture I found for him, Bahir Onsi from the Rotary Club of Cairo, and this is a photo of Ali Amin Yahya from the Rotary Club of Alexandria, who also served as a director of a member of the board of directors. This is our former First Lady, Jehan Sadat. She was visiting the Rotary Club of Alexandria in the 1970s. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of months ago. And then 30 years later, after this picture, I was honored to give her the honorary membership pin about 6 or 7 years ago. And along the years, we had the Egyptian government released several post stamps with Rotary wheels. And here, as you can see, Paul Harris is on one of the post stamps on different occasions. And we're proud to have these stamps released in Egypt. Actually, there was another one. There were a total of 5, but I'm not sure what happened to the 5th one. So anyway, we all stick to the core values of Rotary, and we're very proud of our core values: fellowship, integrity, diversity, service, and leadership. And we work within the 7 areas of focus. I was planning to put some examples of service projects that were implemented here in Egypt, but I thought maybe I should postpone it until next week when I talk about the Rotary Foundation initiatives in Egypt.
Yes,
I will be putting some pictures of, like, examples of I'm not sure. Well, anyway, this is a map that shows, this is the headquarters of Rotary International in Evanstone. And then there are like 6 or 7 secretarial offices. And the reason I put this here is to show you that Egypt reports to the office in Zurich, in Switzerland. And the Zurich office is responsible of Africa, Middle East, and Europe. Okay. As you all know, our leaders change every year. We have new leaders, a new Rotary International president every year, a new district governor every year. Our current Rotary International president for this year is Shekhar Mehta from India, and our district governor is Yasser Nashat from the Rotary Club of Palm Hills in Egypt. Okay, probably this is my final slide. Just to give you some important websites. This is the website of Rotary International, rotary.org, if you would like to read more about Rotary. And this is the website of our district, rotary-d2451.org. And if you're interested to know more about the history of Rotary, then there is another interesting website of the Rotary Global History Fellowship, and the website is rghf.org. And we are available on social media as well. I think, Naveen, I think I should stop here for time, or do you have like 5 more minutes?
5 more minutes, because this is a very interesting one as well.
Time, okay. Okay, well, this has nothing to do, with Rotary in Egypt, but I thought of sharing with you some pictures of celebrities who joined Rotary at some point. You would imagine Neil Armstrong, the first man to put his foot on the moon. He was a Rotarian from in Ohio, one of the Rotary clubs in Ohio. Walt Disney, he was a member of the Rotary Club of Palm Springs in California. This is Charles Mayo, the founder of the famous Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Prince Rene of Monaco. He was a member of the Rotary Club of Monaco. Thomas Edison, he was a Rotarian, Rotary Club of Orange, New Jersey in the United States. Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC. Yes, he was a Rotarian. Two of the most famous prime ministers of England, Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher, both of them were Rotarians. Many presidents of the United States were members of different Rotary clubs. And Prince Charles actually is a Rotarian. And this is a picture of him attending, I think it was a back horse race or something like that. And he was seen wearing his Rotary pin. Okay. All right, thank you so much. And this is just a short version of what we have in Egypt. Hopefully one day I can give you the bigger version or the longer version of the history of Rotary in Egypt. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's great. And maybe before we start our Q&A, we have with us our TRF trustee, Geeta. Geeta, are you there?
Thank you. Yes, I'm very much here. Thank you very much for inviting me to the most fascinating meeting I've ever attended in Rotary. My is near Rotary, really armed with a lot of information. PDG Irv, Maths, and PDG Saada. Amazing, very fascinating words of wisdom that I've heard from all of you today. There's so many things I did not know, and I've been a Rotarian for 20-something years, and really amazing. Great to learn about the specific history of Egypt, and overall overview that PDG Irv shared with us was really, really amazing. Navin, thank you very much for inviting me to this fascinating meeting, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. You asked me to share about what I will talk about next week, but I have no clue because I'm still learning about Rotary from all of you. So But I will talk about how do, I mean, Rotarians come together, and PDG Irv mentioned that the first thing they taught the world or instilled in others was the value of tolerance and understanding and empathizing. And this is where Rotary Foundation comes in. When Rotarians do projects and they want to elevate their communities and they want to do good in the world, in their part of the world, then they work with the Rotary Foundation, which is like the engine of Rotary. It allows Rotarians to live their passion. The Rotary Foundation, members advance world understanding, peace, and goodwill through, the provision of education, safe, clean water, bringing peace to our communities, and, protecting the environment and so on. And so this is what I will talk about, how the Rotary Foundation helps Rotarians carry out their projects and programs in their communities. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and inviting me to come to you all. I'm really fascinated today, and what a great meeting. Amazing. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Gita. And I would like to welcome with us, she was not with us when we started the meeting, our district history chair, past President Huda Gheli. So she is the one responsible, she is chairing the history committee of the district.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you.
Okay,
It was very interesting, yes.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now we are going to turn this to Sylvie, who will be handling Q&A, and our TRF chair, the club TRF chair. Okay.
Hello, Naveen. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. First of all, I want to thank you, PDG Irv and Saada, for this great presentation. I just also would like to add that a great presentation that, like both of you were giving tonight, is very motivating for all the new potential members to know more and to learn more about Rotary. And like this, we're also looking forward for the next presentation in the near future. So thank you both of you. Thank you so much. Please, dear members, if you have any questions, can you please raise your hands? Nobody has questions?
Never.
If nobody has a question, I have a question. Okay, I will ask my question. We talk about the history of Rotary, and I would like to ask to you, PDG Irv, we didn't talk about the Rotary wheel. Could you explain in short what it means, the Rotary wheel? Because I was reading about it, and it has a meaning. Why the Rotarian who made the wheel, why he took 26 gear teeth, and I think this is something also very interesting to know for the members.
Well, I have here, I don't know, let's see. I have here the original pin.
Oh.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, I don't wear it because there's too many pins. It's too large for the, anyhow. What is interesting about the Rotary wheel is they had a Rotarian in the first Rotary Club that was in the metal business. And he thought, because we rotated our meetings, that the what really was symbolic of rotating, and he thought it's the wheel. And the interesting thing here is something you've never heard, and that is that on their first meetings, some of the members thought they should have their meetings on a one of these old paddle boats on the Lake Michigan waters, because it was propelled by a wheel that looked like our Rotary wheel. So they like the idea of a riverboat. Anyhow, this wheel has changed many times. You asked that question. And the wheel has 6 spokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when we did the monument where Paul Harris has his permanent resting place, an 8-foot tall monument was put up, and the engraver, they made the granite monument with 5 spokes. That was not acceptable. This poor gentleman, Rotarian, who owned the company, the stone company that made the monument, had to remake it to be 6 spokes. Anyhow, there is no more meaning other than that, but it refers to us rotating our meetings. And I might add that didn't go on forever either, because soon they had a regular meeting place, and soon they went from 2 meetings to 1 meeting a week. And one thing I want to say in the end, and that is Rotary is beautiful because it keeps changing, and all the changes are pleasant and accepted by Rotarians. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PDG Earth. Thank you. Anybody else has questions?
I think
So
Sahar
quiet
Ramadan
so
had her sign up, had her hands up.
I saw, by the way, PDG Saada, that during your presentation, by coincidence, I saw you have a presentation of 5 or 4 different wheels on one paper, correct?
4 different?
Yes, between your presentation, there was suddenly one file I saw with the wheel.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yes, but the different,
Yeah.
that's why I was asking also, because
Yes.
it's interesting to know.
Yes, it showed the evolution of the wheel.
Yes,
the rotary wheel.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, Naveen, I think there's nobody has more questions. Somebody's asking something. Somebody is asking, and I can't see who it is. What are the expectations from the Red Sea Club under organization?
What?
Yes, somebody is in the chat box. Somebody's asking this, but I cannot see from who it's coming.
It's
from
Sahar Ramadan. It's Sahar Ramadan, my dear.
It's from Sahar Ramadan. Want to ask, what are the expectations from the Red Sea Club under organization? Yes, that's her question.
So is Sahar a member of this club information?
Yes, she's a potential member, yes.
So I think she is asking, what do you expect from a new club as Rotary leaders?
If I were to answer that, I would say that, you know, there's so much information that has been shared today, and Rotarians need to be continuously thirsty for more information, but more information about what is their passion. Is, for example, Sahar's passion to work with health, or is her passion to be networking? Is her passion to be, you know, having fun and fellowship? Is her passion to have, you know, understand the history of Rotary, or does she want to work on projects? And at the end of the day, when all the Rotarians come together and have their passion realized through Rotary, our communities will be successful. There should be a day when there is no child going hungry. Rotary Club of Red Sea Hurghada, there should be no need for people to look for financial stability. There should be a world where, you know, the ideal world where there is no conflict. Of course, it's a tall order in reality, but all of us every day work towards that to see how we can, lend a hand and just make humanity and mankind our business. Sahar, I hope that you accept my perspective of my expectation of a new club.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I would like to thank you, Sylvie, for running and leading the Q&A part. And thank you all. And I'm really looking forward to next week. And I hope Irv, you can join us also next week. And Ruth, we miss Ruth.
I'll look for it. We'll try.
And I think I will just turn it now to our charter president, and at the same time, the district governor representative until it is chartered, Nada Abdelaziz, who will be doing the closing. And thank you everyone for being there. And thank you very much for the speakers and for accepting. And we are looking forward to next year with our TRF trustee, Gita, and our PDG, Ahmed Saada, our TRF chair. It's now back to you, Nada.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody. I'm very happy, really. Thank you very much, Irv, Saada, and the lovely lady, Gita Aussi, in French, sorry, too.
I might mention now that Paul Harris has been over my shoulder.
Yes, I love this.
Founder has been part of our meeting.
Yeah.
That's one of 20 replica paintings of Paul Harris in the world.
Wow. Wow.
So
And thank you very much.
We are working on
much
arranging a visit after Houston. We are working on arranging a visit to the to Chicago, to the Paul Harris House and Paul Harris Memorial, and to the headquarters. So we will know more as we go along with our RCHF meetings, and we will be talking more about it.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for Red Sea under organization. Very soon, not under organization, inshallah.
Yes.
And thank you very much for all guests today. Thank you very much, Cecilio, for the background. This our hands, guys. This our hands. It was in the day of Polio Day on the boat. This our real hands.
Yes, yes, you see?
Yeah.
Great.
Stay well, healthy, and happy.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.